Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Gamestore Guardians. I'm Mike, and I'll be playing against Will. It's going to be a grudge match. He's gotten the best of me a lot lately, and I need to get a win today, so we're going to see how it goes. We roll for priority, and I win the roll. We immediately go into checking secures and extracts. Upon reading his secures and extracts, I realize that a lot of his secures are set up badly for me. So I'm going to choose my secures and his extracts. We shuffle them up, and I get gamma waves for my secures, and he gets alien ship for his extracts. He decides to play at 20 threat, and the thing you got to know, mostly gamma waves, it's going to be down the center, and it's going to deal 1 damage to each character that's not within 2 of a shelter. Alien ship, you search through the rubble, and you're just trying to find the Kree Power Core. I'm going to be playing Defenders today. Soul, Gem, Doctor Strange, Black Hat, Iron Fist, Hulk, and Wong. My team tactics cards are going to be Follow Me, Heroes for Hire, Brace for Impact, 7 Sons of Cinnabis, and Mission Objective. Will's bringing Brotherhood of Mutants today, and he'll be playing Magneto, Gambit, Rogue, Juggernaut, and Toad, with the team tactics cards of Asteroid M, Magnetic Refraction, Brace for Impact, Patch Up, and Do You Know Who I Am? So the strategy for today with Defenders is going to be revolving around the Mystic Empowerment ability, which allows me to choose the attack's type, and also if it deals damage, it's going to hex the target. So the idea is that you target the lowest defense, and you try to land the hex. And hex is going to be that you can't explode criticals. So if you roll a critical on the die, you do not roll an additional die. So it's actually pretty good on offense and defense. I'm going to have to look out for Magneto's affiliation, which is whenever a terrain piece is destroyed, the size of the terrain piece is equal to the amount of energy that you can distribute amongst his team. One energy per person. So he loads up here on the close side, and I kind of load up on the middle. My idea here is that since he's loading up on one side, if he happens to get it on that side, I have Hulk to kind of rush in and try to deal with that person. Otherwise, I'm going to try to stay towards the middle. It really feels like on Alien Ship, there's not a huge benefit to doing the far rubble unless everybody is spread out or you have a very elusive character. So to start off the round here, Magneto places a metal construct within 3 of himself during the power phase. I'm going to start with Iron Fist, double moving him to the center and spending 1 energy to attempt to find the Kree Power Core, but fail the roll. Will then activates Toad, double moves him to the closer objective on our camera here. He's going to sift through the rubble with his long, gross tongue for 1 energy, but fail to find the core. I then move Doctor Strange twice onto the middle building, attempt to find the core, but fail, spending 1 energy in the process. Will activates Rogue, double moves her to the closest rebel point, spends 1 energy to search the core, and she comes up with it. She comes up with the ball. I immediately activate Hulk and begin thinking of ways to take back the core. I double move towards Rogue, and use the 3 energy that you gain on Hulk to throw her into the building behind Hulk, spending 2 energy to do so. Rogue takes 1 damage, and I'm hoping to use my priority on the following turn to set up a kill for Rogue, or at least put her closer to Black Hat to try to steal the power core. Will then activates Gambit, moves him onto the rightmost shelter point. Gambit takes a shot at Doctor Strange with Kinetic Ace for 2 damage. I realize at this point that Doctor Strange didn't need to be on the building, but his bigger base lent me to want to put him on the top. That way I have a better chance of contesting that middle point with all of my characters. I then activate Wong, double move him to the center point, and ensure that I can control it this round so I could break even with points on Will. He'll get 2 for the core, I'll get 2 for the center, is my idea. Will activates Magneto, moves him closer to the center, unbeknownst to me to set up for the following turn. Magneto then does a reverse polarity into Strange, who spends 2 to shield himself, giving him an extra 2 defense dice on the roll, which ends up as 0 damage but nets Doctor Strange 1 energy for rolling a shield. However, Magneto does get to push Doctor Strange short and pushes him off the point. I double move Black Cat onto my rear shelter close to Rogue and end the turn. Will then activates Juggernaut, who moves slightly to gain 2 energy from his unstoppable momentum superpower, then spends 3 energy for Nothing Stops the Juggernaut, destroying the car in front of him, gaining an energy for Magneto and Juggernaut from Magneto's leadership that we talked about, and running into Hulk for 1 damage. This is kind of like the Wombo combo for Will's team, dealing damage, getting energy, blowing stuff up. Juggernaut then does a strike into Hulk for 1 damage, and pushes Hulk slightly back into Rogue, which is going to end round 1. So at the end of round 1, I'm going to be scoring 3 total points, 3 from the shelters and 0 from the core, and Will also scores 3 points, 1 from shelters and 2 from core. Exactly what I was looking for the first round. I knew once I lost the power core that I needed to secure that middle point. During the cleanup phase, Doctor Strange, Hulk, Rogue, Juggernaut, and Toad each take 1 damage from gamma waves. I keep priority into round 2. Round 2 power phase, Magneto sets up a metal construct near the center point. And I start off with Hulk, doing a strike onto Rogue, which is going to deal 5 damage, and daze Rogue, who drops the power core. Hulk is going to pay 1 energy to pick it up, and realizing that this is my best case scenario, having the MacGuffin on Hulk, I begin to run and jump Hulk into the rest of my team to protect him. Hulk spends 3 energy to Gamma Leap, and uses his second action to move. I then decide to spend 6 energy and use Follow Me, targeting Doctor Strange, who immediately activates. I kind of do this to make sure that I save priority for the next round. Doctor Strange moves to the rear shelter to free up Black Cat and spends 3 to heal 3 off a Hulk. Doctor Strange forgoes his second action and ends the turn. Magneto activates, does a Shrapnel Blast Spender attack from his metal construct, hitting Iron Fist, Wong, and Hulk. Iron Fist uses Heroes for Hire, spending 3 energy to step in the way of the attack. Iron Fist takes 0 from the blocked attack, but is stunned, and throws Magneto away from Iron Fist. I'm guessing with magic. Iron Fist takes 4 damage from the second hit, and Hulk takes 1 from the third attack, and is immune to stun. As an editor's note here, I immediately forgot the stun condition on Iron Fist and added 4 energy where it should have been 1. Magneto then moves towards the right side shelter. I activate Wong, spend 1 energy to gain 1 energy on Wong, spend 1 energy to heal Iron Fist, and spend 2 energy to give Doctor Strange 1 power.
To take in, but you're gonna have to start getting used to that.
It's always an interesting turn from Wong. Will activates Toad and double moves him towards the center. I activate Black Cat and move her towards the center point to try and keep it. Then I do a Cat's Claws onto Toad, finally remembering my own team's affiliation, spending 1 for Mystic Empowerment, dealing 0 damage, so no hex. Alright, here comes the Juggernaut into the middle scrum, gaining 2 energy from the move, and swings a huge fist at Black Cat, who finds some aid from Dr. Shield Strange for 2 energy off Strange. She takes 2 damage and is pushed slightly into the Hulk, who saves her. Juggernaut spends 3 energy to knock into the nearby building, giving 1 energy to Gambit, Magneto, and Toad, and ends his turn. I activate Iron Fist, who gets tough and does a flying kick onto Juggernaut, dealing 0 damage as he realizes that Juggernaut's helmet is actually quite hard. And I place within 1 of Juggernaut, also gaining 1 energy. Iron Fist follows up with a Chi Strike onto Juggernaut. This time the energy attack deals 2 damage, which gets reduced to 1 by Juggernaut spending 1 energy on Nice Punch. The last activation of the round is going to be Gambit, who moves a little bit, realizes he's not in range to do much, and ends the turn and the round. At the end of round 2, I score 3 from Shelters, 2 from Core, for 8 total. Will scores 1 from Shelter and 0 from the Core, for 4 total. During the cleanup phase, nobody takes damage from Gamma Waves this round, and I maintain priority. Round 3 Power Phase, Magneto places a Metal Construct. I activate Iron Fist to start the round and utilize him as kind of a sacrificial lamb. I move him up to Magneto and use his second activation on Iron Fist onto Magneto for 8 energy. He spends 2 for Force Projection to increase his defenses, takes 4 damage, gaining the activated token. Will activates Juggernaut and continues to make nothing stop the Juggernaut, spending 3 energy and breaking a dumpster, giving 1 power back to Juggernaut and Rogue. I mentioned to Will at this point that he can move Juggernaut further than he has been with Nothing Stops Juggernaut, but he says that he wants to regular move to get all their extra movement benefits. Juggernaut moves, gains 2 energy, and uses the Juggernaut Spender onto Hulk, who receives a shield from Doctor Strange for 2 energy, taking 5 damage and an additional 1 from the Rush. Seeing 10 energy on Hulk, I activate Hulk next to use his energy. I spend 2 to throw Juggernaut into Rogue, who both spend 1 on Brace for Impact to negate the damage taken. Hulk spends 3 energy to Gamma Leap towards Juggernaut, but still within 2 of the Gamma Shelter to not take damage. Hulk spends 3 energy to Thunderclap into Juggernaut and Rogue, and also spends 1 energy on Mystic Empowerment. Juggernaut takes 2 damage in the Hex condition. Rogue takes 0 damage and doesn't get hexed. Hulk's second attack is going to be a big old boy punch onto Juggernaut, which is going to deal 1 damage, which is lowered to 0 by Juggernaut spending 1 energy on Nice Punch. Will activates Rogue, who spends 5 energy to use Patch Up on Juggernaut, cuddling him.
I feel a tingle. Is this supposed to hurt?
Just wait. You'll feel it soon enough.
And she heals him for 5 damage. Rogue then spends 2 to charge and try to land an Absorbing Strike onto Hulk, which deals 5 damage and an energy sap. Rogue then piles it on and spends 3 for Southern Hospitality onto Hulk, who sees 3 damage incoming and spends 4 energy on Hulk for not Puny Banner, and takes 2 damage from that attack, but is thrown into Black Cat. Both Hulk and Black Cat spend 1 energy also on Brace for Impact to negate the damage. Rogue then spends 2 for Mutant Absorption, which takes 2 energy from Hulk and deals 1 damage. At this point, I activate Wong and spend 1 energy to place a Band-Aid on Hulk, healing 2 damage. Wong then gets tough and punches Toad, dealing 1 damage. Toad spends 2 energy to run away with Slippery. Gross. Gambit activates next and attacks Iron Fist with a handful of 52 cards, spending 4 energy to make Iron Man... Iron Man? No. Iron Fist pick them up for 0 damage. Big whiff. Gambit gives up on Iron Fist and moves to the middle point. Black Cat goes and spends 2 for her grappling hook to place her on top of the blockbuster. Then she moves to say hi to Toad and gives him a high 5, but forgets her long nails, which claw into Toad like a cat for 3 damage, which dazes Toad. Seeing his chance, Dr. Strange activates while Toad is dazed and does a Bolts of Bedevilment onto Rogue for 1 damage and pushes her. Strange then does a Bolts onto Jugs for 4 damage, which Jugs spends 1 energy to negate 1 from, Jugs can't be pushed, and Doctor Strange then realizes he's not close enough to heal Hulk. And done fucked up. This ends the round. There's an editor's note. At this point, I realized I forgot an energy gain from the Soul Gem when Rogue used her mutant absorption and added it. At the end of round 3, Mike scores 4 from shelters, 2 from core for 14 total, and Will scores 0 from shelters, 0 from core for 4 total. Will gains priority in this round. Round 4, power phase. Looks like we forgot to do the gamma wave damage on Juggernaut, Rogue, and Iron Fist. Will starts with Juggernaut, but before he moves, spends 2 for magnetic refraction to set up a screen of cover around 3 of Magneto. Juggernaut then moves behind Hulk, spends 3 energy to bull rush into Strange, dealing 1 damage. I remember the gamma waves at this point, and it's corrected. Doctor Strange caught off guard by Juggernaut's nimble toes and gets smacked with a backhand, knocking the soul out of the Soul Gem for 8 damage, dazing Doctor Strange, and also pushing him away before damage is dealt. Juggernaut then uses Do You Know Who I Am for 3 energy, and throws Hulk at Wong. Hulk takes 1 damage and Wong takes 4 damage, dazing Wong.
Not know who I am? He must not know who I am. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp. I'm bad. I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world.
So at this point I get a little scared, and I decide to activate Hulk to get a little revenge on Juggernaut, hitting him with a mystically empowered strike, spending 1 energy, and dealing 8 damage, spiking hard and dazing Juggernaut. And before damage is dealt, I push him into a nearby car.
But I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Then Hulk decides to take his kickball and go home, spending 3 energy to Gamma Leap away and using his second action to move. The idea here is to attempt to draw the remaining Brotherhood away from the safety of the shelters. Will activates Magneto, spends 4 energy to throw the blockbuster at Black Cat, which is going to deal 5 damage and daze Black Cat, giving 1 energy to Magneto, Gambit, Rogue, and Toad. Then he turns his sights onto Iron Fist and uses reverse polarity, dealing an unnecessary amount of damage, dazing Iron Fist as Magneto attempts to wipe my board of any non-mutants. Magneto uses his second activation to move and just look scary. Upon checking hospital records, it is confirmed that all of my characters are dazed except for the nearly dead Hulk. Will checks again to make sure that all my characters are unable to act, rubbing salt in the wounds, then activating Rogue, spending 2 off Magneto and Rogue for Asteroid M, placing Rogue near Magneto. Will checks for a health check on Hulk, who needs 6 more damage to be KO'd, and spends 2 energy off Rogue to charge into Hulk, as she takes off her gloves to absorb Hulk's life energy. This ultimately deals 2 damage as Hulk spends 4 energy for Hulk.Puny Banner. Second attack deals 0 damage, as Hulk had enough of that. Rogue then uses Mutant Absorption, which deals 1 damage and removes 2 energy from Hulk. Will activates Toad, moving and leaping him for 2 energy to get closer to Hulk to soften him up with some acid spittle, spending another 2 energy for the attack. Hulk takes 1 damage and the Incinerate condition. As the sun nearly sets on this round, Gambit is activated and tries to finish off Hulk, moving further towards Hulk and away from the safety of the shelters. Gambit spends 4 on a 52 card pickup, dealing 3 damage, KOing Hulk, and spending 1 to pick up the Kree Power Core, ending the round.
Apprehend this!
How did you do that?
With style, Petit. With style.
This ends round 4. I'm going to be scoring 0 points of shelter, 0 points of core for 14 total, and the pendulum swings back in Will's favor. He scores 2 from shelters and 2 from core for 8 total. I gain priority this round, and during cleanup, Toad, Rogue, and Gambit each take 1 damage. During the round 5 power phase, my whole team flips, and seeing as my only out is to try to win on points this round, I immediately activate Black Cat and rush her towards Gambit, spending 3 for Master Cat Burglar, stealing the Kree Power Core from Gambit. Black Cat then uses her second action to move away from the Brotherhood like a bad date, and spends 2 on her grappling hook to move a little bit further away. With Bloodlust in his eyes, Will activates Juggernaut, who moves and rushes into Doctor Strange for 1 damage, spending 3 energy. Juggernaut then uses his big spender on the Juggernaut for 4 energy into Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange spends 2 energy to try to shield himself, but still takes 4 damage. Juggernaut triggers the bonus charge on the spender and rushes into Doctor Strange again for 1 energy, KOing Doctor Strange.
Don't you know who I am?
No, not again. I've got to end this thing before it begins.
Should be noted that we realize afterwards that Jugs can only deal 1 damage per round with the rush, but oh well. I activate Iron Fist next, who does a Chi Strike into Magneto and surprisingly dazing him for 3 damage. Iron Fist then moves towards Black Cat and sets up for the lateral pass. Will activates Rogue and moves her towards Wong and punches him as he still recovers from getting Hulk thrown at him. But he uses Sorcerer's Supreme skills and takes 0 damage, jumping through a portal probably. I finish my activations with Wong, moving him to the right shelter and within 2 of Black Cat, trying to set up an impossible win scenario. I violently throw my measurement tools, praying for victory. Toad moves and spends 2 to hop near Wong, spending 2 to hurl Stomach Bile at Black Cat, dealing 2 damage in the Incinerate condition. Gambit moves towards Black Cat, but after measuring, he's not within 3 of Black Cat, and she uses her stealth to snag the victory. I realize to myself, holy shit, did I just win? I think I did.
It's a race. It's a race. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Giving Will all possible points for that last round, the ending total is Mike 16, Will 14. Good game, Will. That was a fun one. Special thanks to Brett Eagleston for our background soundtrack as always. You can find his website and Twitter in the show notes below. And thank you to Red Seal Gaming in Matawan, New Jersey for letting us film there. Alright, that's going to be another episode of Gamestore Guardians completed. I really thank all of you for watching and hanging out. And as always, I wish you guys to have a great day and hope to see you again.